So I'm sitting here and, well, it all started with me watching a YouTube video of someone who goes around and views very nice properties or houses. And their majority of them are seven figures. And I accidentally exit out of it because I was doing other things. And then when I went back, I didn't see the video, but I did see another one, and it was on the law of, is it resonance? Let me see. It was the law of revenants? Revenants? Resonance? Revenants. I think it's revenants. By Napoleon Hill. So I started listening to that, and I didn't even get through it. I started writing down some of the key points he made, like claim authorship over your identity and emotional hygiene, and you receive what you believe. And the thought that came up to me or came to my mind was I am posting on TikTok and Instagram, and I've been deciding not to show my face. And one of the things that came to me in this moment, I had to pause this and record this, was my fear of being seen. And this is one of the greatest things that I'm currently working on that stems from my childhood, growing up in, I think it's a few different things. I think one is how I interpreted the children should be seen and not heard. I think I internalized that as just something that carried on more than just from childhood, but into adulthood. But I also feel like it was bigger than just this saying of a children should be seen and not heard. Even though it kind of is more metaphorically than, me not wanting to show my face, but it's still an effort of not wanting to be seen. But anyway, it was more than just that or those sayings that I heard as a child. It was also events that happened that further solidified more of that point of being seen and not heard. And it's an interesting take when you think about it. Being seen and not heard, my fear is actually physically being seen, but also at the same time, one of my biggest things that I'm working on is speaking my truth and sharing my voice and my thoughts and my emotions and my journey, which a lot of things that like I said, past the seen and not heard, just a lot of, or events that were pivotal in my life, um, being ignored a lot, where um, having to figure out and do things on my own because it's like I'm being seen, but I'm not being heard. Where one of the examples is, luckily, I was 18 years old, but still in high school, so still under my, parents' care, so to speak. And I was saying I wasn't feeling well and I needed to go to the doctors. And she dismissed because late around that time I was getting sick. Like I had a sinus infection, and then I think I had like a bladder infection, and then like it was just like, I swear it was like every month I was at the doctor's, and my mom was just like, again, dismissing me. And I was like, I'm not feeling well, like I feel like I can't breathe, or like I'm having a hard time breathing, like even just doing simple tasks. Like I'm 18 years old, I'm not overweight, I'm healthy, and I'm walking to take the trash out and I have to stop multiple times because I'm feeling shortness of breath. So I brought that up to her and she's like, oh, there's always something wrong with you, and just dismissed it. So then I was having a hard time passing the mucus that was in, and they were just so big that it almost feel like until I got it out that I couldn't breathe. Like that's how like big, and it was like green and yellow, and it was just one of those things that has still, I think, caused or attributed to a lot of my anxiety as an adult, with things in my throat, or if I feel like I'm getting sick, like just that fear. So luckily, I mean, it was like a 15-minute walk and I had to take breaks. I was able to make my own doctor's appointment at the pediatrician. I walked there, and they ended up giving me a nebulizer treatment because I had pneumonia. And I didn't end up telling my mom because she didn't care. Um, and I think I feel like I did say something, but again, I feel like she just dismissed it. Um, so then years later, honestly, the past maybe 2 years ago, her and I met for coffee, and I forget how it came up. And she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you had that." And I'm like, "Yeah, there was several things that you ignored or dismissed me with." And, she's like, "Well, people can die from pneumonia." And, obviously it wasn't that bad. And luckily I went to the doctor and they cleared it up and they gave me a medicine which broke it up for me and just made my life so much easier. Um, but anyway, and, she did apologize for ignoring me. And we had a lot of tiffs, I think, in these last few years when I started speaking my truth. And to the point where the one time when you start working on healing yourself, you start to see, whether it be family structures and dynamics, where a lot of your issues and possibly trauma or neglect, like where they came from, where your mindset is, why your mindset is the way it is, why you attracted who you attracted into your life. You know what I mean? And between like the friendships, the romantic relationships, and you're like, oh my gosh, I see it so clearly. And so when I started expressing myself about how I felt, I noticed it would, and this word bothered her, trigger her. And she would be very mean, very defensive, very, just not very nice and not very kind. And in that moment, because it started at a store, in that moment, when she started telling me she really wants to tell me how she feels, but I'm too sensitive, and just being very, just just very nasty. I mean, that's the only thing I can describe. And then it reminded me of times when, whether I was a young adult or a child, where that was how she treated me when I said how I felt. I was very dismissed. It was all about her feelings, and my feelings didn't matter. It was just about her and what she was going through, which, about the whole pneumonia thing, she did apologize and say her mental state, and she had her own mental health struggles. Um, that was for the pneumonia incident, but she did, I don't know if she, because we had conversations about the way she treated me in that moment when I spoke my truth. To me, that something was so insignificant, but to her it made her become emotional volatile. And that was not, again, the second or first or second time that it's happened, even as an adult in my late 30s. I think a lot of it is questioning her. And I'm not questioning to, I'm not questioning it to like out of malice. I'm just like genuinely just trying to understand where a person is coming from. And I don't know if it's just that generation where they look at it as um I don't know what word to use. I don't know if it's disrespect. I don't know. I don't really know what it is at this current moment, but the resistance to asking somebody, okay, well, why do you feel that way? Well, where does that come from? You know, I'm genuinely just trying to understand, but nonetheless, it created very tense situations. And like even in my body, like I just felt like the anxiety um from just saying how I felt, which um yeah, which helped me like, oh wow, like I didn't make this up as a child, you know what I mean? Or this wasn't in my head. Like this happened, and now I'm older, so now I can speak how I, feel about things. But like that was the same energy because it felt like exactly how I felt when I was a child. Um being told I'm too sensitive. Um when really it's just the thoughts that that person was saying really wasn't coming from a place of love um, at all, nor were my feelings taken into account. Because one of the things that she said was, "You should have protected my feelings," and I'm like, "Well, I like we're adults. And you're an adult. Like speaking, like I'm not saying anything mean. I'm just expressing myself, and you take that as or any expression of how someone feels, whether it be me or my child, to her is I, meaning me, have to protect her feelings from not only myself and what I say to her, but what my child says, which I'm raising my kids to speak their truth in a kind, respectful way, but I'm not allowing the repeated cycle of how I felt for my child to feel unseen and unheard, because no one deserves that. And you see how it carries into adulthood and the way we move. So, yes, so this all came from watching um, watching a video from, I want to say Neville Goddard, but it wasn't. It was Napoleon Hill, and just seeing where I'm at and how that, and a lot of my mindset, not a lot, but like my mindset, my aura, my energy, and how that is blocking me from, or blocking myself from ultimately success, abundance, peace, joy, happiness. Um, but you have to know where it comes from, you have to know where it starts, and it's not to blame, your circumstances or how you were raised or anything like that. It's more to get an understanding of, okay, where did this come from? Okay, how is it now showing in my life? What are the themes that I'm still carrying based off of the past currently in my energy field and into the future? Because you're going to get what you are. And if you don't know what you are, you're not going to change who you become. So I really just wanted to share that. And that was a little insight. And I originally wanted to write it, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to hit record, see what happens, and go from there. So yeah, this is just the beginning of being seen and heard, and I'm starting with being heard, and eventually I know that I will be 100% confident in being seen and heard, because I know what doors it's going to open by fully stepping into who I am, and I'm excited to see where this goes. So please join me on my journey, like and subscribe. And yeah, this is only the beginning.